Welcome to the Real CP Show. I am your host, CP. And today's topic, these violent Anglo males you see on this image were involved in the shooting of a teen on New Year's Eve. But black folks are the problems, or should we say black Americans are the problems, right? Get the Haitis out of here for the ones who play those or that infantile tactic, right? See, as long as people like to say black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime, right? Even though the most statistically hated personnel in America by crime stats is against black Americans. The number one people in America who's had the most hate-filled laws, policies, procedures, right? Put in bondage the most, still not got any kind of reparations at all, right? Well, other people get reparations and border break illegal immigrants and immigration personnel getting resources, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, you start talking about reparations for blacks or anti-black American hate crime bill, they're like this.
Nothing. I know nothing. I know nothing.
Yes, that's what they act like, right? The ones who know who they are. So in this situation here, right, especially when you have white on white criminality, oh, that's blankety quiet and minimized. The number one people you see who have definitely have done the most mass shootings, right, at schools, at colleges, at people, at businesses, is numbers of males within the predominant culture. Then you throw in some females within certain parts of predominant culture doing their little heinous stuff. The ones applies to, right? But you got people that act again. They act like they don't know nothing, right? It's almost like you got some scary people, right? But at the same time, again, when you start talking about black on black crime, oh my goodness, what's wrong with those people? Man, they always complaining. And let's not even talk about the fleers, especially the ones who have black skin that are cosplaying black Americans. I'm talking about the ones who know, people know what I'm talking about. They have the skin of black, but they don't have black Americans back, but they keep trying to sit there and cosplay and tell they're black Americans. You see the game on that, and they know millions of black Americans, kind of got some naiveness to not see through these tactics that these people keep playing, right? So in this situation right here, you got these dastardly, this demonically type of cretin, type of Anglo males in this picture who said there was involved in a shouting of a teenager, right? But again, you got people that do just like this.
Nothing. I know nothing.
Right? So let's go ahead and share my, let me share my screen. On that, give me one moment here. Here we go. Right here, let's make sure you can see this. Let me maximize the screen so you can see that. Okay, just want to make sure you can see that part. All right, let me go ahead and play. And I'm utilizing this for fair uses doctrine.
Tanner, breaking news this morning. The Henry County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting involving a minor. It happened last night just after 5:30. Deputies responded to the C-Mart Bestway convenience store in the 1700 block of Dillon's Fork Road. There, they found a 14-year-old with a single gunshot wound. The shooting happened about a mile and a half away in the 1700 block of the Great Road. The victim was airlifted to a trauma center for treatment. This morning, the condition of that victim is unknown. 2 people were charged in connection to that shooting. The investigation is active.
Look at that. Look at that. Demon-like, right? Zachary T. Chenault and Michael L. Ferguson, right? Look at that. Do they look like someone that look like they have utopianness, happiness, and camaraderie with people? Do they look like they want to be friends with different kind of cultures and backgrounds? I don't think so, right? So let me just read a little bit of this for a second. Also, real fast. Make sure you can see that. Henry County, Virginia, 2 Anglo men were arrested in connection to the shooting of a 14-year-old on New Year's Eve, according to such entity. 22-year-old. Let me repeat this again. Only 22-year-old Zachary T. Chenault and 20-year-old Michael L. Ferguson were arrested following the result of an investigation involving multiple interviews, evidence collection, and crime scene processing. Officials say 22-year-old, let me go back. 22-year-old Zachary T. Chenault and 20-year-old Michael L. Ferguson were arrested and charged. The deputies alleged both Anglo men were involved into the shooting of a teen in Henry County. Chenault was charged with aggravated malicious wounding, use, firearmness, and the commission of a felony, shooting into occupied vehicle. Ferguson was charged with reckless handling of firearmness. Basically on that, brandishing of firearmness. On Wednesday around 5:35 p.m., authorities responded to a C-Mart Bestway convenience store at 1706 Dillon's Fork Road. The response was to report of a teen arriving at the store with a gunshot wound, officials say. So whatever that area on that. The teen was transported to the hospital. The condition of the victim was unknown, according to deputies. Chenault and Ferguson are in jail. Ferguson has a $5,000 unsecured bond. Chenault was not given a bond, deputies say. But at the same time, people want to talk about black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime. But at the same time, you start saying, we're going to do with this white on white crime, which is a national emergency, or still white on black criminality, which is a national emergency, right? They're like, you'd be like, they be quiet listening, right? Then they say, oh my goodness, this anti-white. As if within whiteness don't have a caste system, right? Appalachian whites are at the bottom rung. You think the high society, polluting Anglo personnel give a care about anything dealing with low-level Appalachian whites and some old poor pauper whites? They do not. You think middle-class whites gonna sit there and ever get up to the true area of high society whites? I don't think so. So there is animosity between various types of Anglo caste system. Oh, we don't want to talk about that, right? But it's like people be like, oh my goodness, anti-whiteness. Yeah, right. Go to Haiti with that game. Because they be like, it's not, white people doing that. Go somewhere with that game tactic. Go play it with somebody else who don't know that tactic. Go on now. Right? Because they do just like this.
Intense rivalry. All this intense rivalry. After all, we all belong to the same race. The human race.
And there are ones within certain parts of the culture who do have that deviousness or deflection tactics built in, with small exceptions. See, if you think about it, if it was a collective amount of good Anglo personnel over centuries, there is no way that politically that the overwhelmingness of good political figures and good, however, entities and etc. Oh, they easily would have said, hey, we demand Black Americans get reparations, right? We demand that Black Americans get an anti-American hate crime bill passed, right? We gave it to what we call generically Asians, even though there's Afro-Asians, even though Iran, which is the enemy, right, supposed to be parts of what a supremacist parts in the U.S., right? Even though Iran's an Asian country, right? Iraq is an Asian country, right? Parts of Russia is an Asian country, right? Oh, but we don't want to talk about that part, right? Just generically Asian. You see this game, and they definitely know. Many people don't know the games on that, and they know that numbers of Black Americans certainly they say don't know through the games, with small exceptions, right? On that situation. But again, this is why it cannot have collectiveness within various parts of society that are overwhelmingly about goodness toward the Black Americans. Because it's been over centuries, it's been only a small number of personnel within certain parts of the economics culture who sit there and say, you know what, this is wrong, what you're doing toward Black Americans. This is so wrong, right? And see the good numbers of Anglo personnel, which is going to be a small amount within the U.S. because the system makes it that way. Then if that's not true, how is it that when you've heard some try to help out Black Americans, they're calling Wiggers and Negro haters? You got the word, right? You see the point, right? And look at these little images in the front. Oh, you best believe if they are not pseudo Klan members, oh, they would love to join the Klan if they could, right?
Where does it come from? All this hatred. Do you think it might be a little more serious than missing persons?
I don't think so, boy.
Some things are worth dying for.
You admire these kids, don't you?
I do.
Did it ever occur to them they would end up dead?
Maybe. I'm looking for some information.
I ain't got nothing to say to you, sir. Happening, ladies?
Do you honestly think you people be down here at all looking for those two white boys?
Maybe not, miss.
Where's it?
I guess they know we're here.
And I'm here to tell you our neighbors were happy. There was people in color, kids came out here stirring things up. Before that, there wasn't anybody complaining. Nobody dared. Came out here stirring things up. Before that, there wasn't anybody complaining. Nobody dared.
What's wrong with these people? What's wrong with these people? What's wrong with these people?
Based upon trueness of how many Black Americans were lynched, slaughtered, fire-boomed houses, Black men RAPED'd, women RAPED'd, right? I mean, the list goes on, right? This was less than 100 years ago. You got personnel that just showed up in America half a piece of history ago that have no clue. But at the same time, benefit off of Black pain. And maybe in 2026, more Black Americans start calling out these tethered type people. Start calling out people who are detrimental toward Black Americans. Start calling out even more symbols and type people in 2026 and beyond. Because at the same time, there are people who look upon Black Americans as foolish collectively and think they're supposed to go out there and vote for nothing, while at the same time, Harvard personnel giving resources and benefits to border break illegal immigrants, immigration personnel, all that billions of dollars given to Ukraine. The list goes on, right? But at the same time, people act like they can't find no resources for Black Americans. But they say nothing about, what about all this resources going to what we call Native Americans? Even though you have numbers of numbers of Caucasian people who gave $2.50, $5 and put themselves on the road to be called also Native Americans. Mm-hmm.
I know nothing. Nothing. I know nothing.
Again, as long as it's certain type of things that gets the juice flowing related to talking about black on black crime, it's acceptable. But anytime you start talking about white on white crime, white on black crime, brown on black crime, tan on black crime, the list goes on. It's not just physical. There's also mental criminality toward Black Americans from various groups of people and backgrounds. Then they say, yeah, like they don't know nothing. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.